Team Heretics are one of the first professional teams to do the unthinkable and bust out not one, not two, but 3 initiators. And not only did this comp look kooky, but they looked good. Heretics were down 4-8, but made a convincing 9-round comeback to prove the world that this comp is the bee's knees. But how? Don't get me wrong, initiators are great, but who's following up off all this utility? How does it work? Maybe Fokus just fucked up. Let me watch this real quick. And wait, guys, what are you doing? Are you stupid? We call this professional Valorant? What are you doing? In this video, I'm dissecting how this fuster clomp of a comp can work and the way it exposes so-called pros. Hey guys, quick disclaimer, I crash out a lot in this video, and if you want to avoid making the same mistakes that these players make, you should check out Gosu Academy. VCT winning franchise coach Chet is doing a free to attend class on Saturday the 15th of February at 4 p.m. EST to celebrate the launch of the Pro Academy. He will be analyzing a tier 1 scrim VOD with full comms, meaning this provides a unique opportunity to get into the minds of some of the best players in the world. And think about it, you get to listen to the game plans and decisions they make in real time. So what are you waiting for? Sign up with a link to get access to the class and 30 days of additional free coaching. If you want to support the channel, attend the event and find out more about Gosu's Pro Academy. Believe it or not, Heretics aren't the first team to try out a comp like this. A while ago, before I got any views, I broke down this same exact lineup run by M80. They ran it on Ascent instead and went 2 for 3 with it and stole a win from the Guard in the Ascension Grand Finals, a best of 3 to decide who makes it to franchising. They really believed in this comp. But after that, they took it out behind the barn and shot it. I don't really know why. I liked it. Because if played correctly, it can work better than your traditional comps. But Teets, it doesn't have, these things. You mean trips, Jimmy? Yeah, they can't consistently hold map control. Well, believe it or not, but that weakness is actually the comp's strength. If timed correctly or done based off certain triggers, the defense can proactively make plays around the map through the duration of the round and make sure rotates are in the right spot at the right time. But doing that is a lot easier said than done. Your plays need to be made on certain timings or based on protocols, which are hard to set up and require constant communication. And if the offense play around or are prepared for said traps or proactiveness, you're basically feeding the defense free info on your setups and you leave yourself open to timings. Think about it. Stuns, 0 points, haunts, or prowlers, they all don't last as long as a trip or camera does. So if Fokus take their time and let Heretics show their hand, they should be able to close out this game. And on pistol round, they're 5 slamming A. The round opens up and Heretics knife B main, no one's there, and Astra gets on the line. If it's not B, it must be A.
A trap being set by Heretics. You can see that they're looking to play off the stun of Benji. Lewis is just going to send it in. He's actually trying to be aided by the paranoia, but Heretics, it's a shooting gallery at the end of the day. It's far too easy for them. As Fokus now look to try and look at other avenues, but every place they go.
Why did the double sentinel comp just try to cram themselves into A? Did Heretics steal Fokus's initiator? I mean, Cypher kinda acts as one with his buy barrier cam and it clears close, but imagine for a minute. The offense wait like 10 to 15 seconds and let KO fling his knife and they call out it doesn't tag anything. Then the A players make a play and realize that A is empty too. Then naturally, the defense are going to think that the attackers are moving up mid and move off of A. Then the attackers can slam A easier. And I know that whole idea sounds like hindsight, but what I'm trying to say is that Fokus can't rush against this comp. They need to pump the brakes and try to find the gaps in Heretics setup. Eventually, the defense is going to have to spread out, and here they ran into a 3-stack. Breach ripped a fault line for Lewis to clear main, and immediately dropped back into heaven to flood out and save their breach. Raze's perfectly placed nade split the offense in half, Fade haunted behind Flower to make it harder to shoot, and had Fokus trapped. KO had vents, Site was swarmed, and Breach dropped back to spawn to make sure no attackers leaked out. But their proactiveness doesn't stop there. On Boo's deathcam, he saw Mystic go back up vents. So Miniboo and Rians join hands and walk up ramps while Benji plays for info. The defense have Mystic surrounded and has no way out.
In the off-season in that EU versus NA event, of course. Looking white hot coming into this one. Clipping away at the coattails of Mystic. He's not even going to go for the plant.
The rotations from Heretics comp on the anti-eco were really smooth. Stay with me. KO started in spawn, ready to respond to either site. 5 seconds in, and he heads to B heaven to knife main, no one's there. And on A, Valorant has anchored 2 defenders after being tagged by this prowler. Then, Benji stayed in heaven to watch ramp and vents, while Rians had main, and the offense kept trying to push their way into heaven. The Minibu took contact, swung back onto Rafter, took more shots, and Big Brother Boo stepped in with a well-placed molly and flash, forcing Fokus back into mid. But they kept going back into heaven? Like at this point, most of the defense have to be here. I don't get it. Why are you guys forcing it? Raze lobbed her nade at them, then KO another flash. Are these guys just obsessed with heaven? Do they live up in those apartments?
Count for something.
Yeah.
They get
Ooh.
suppressed, and Whoop is peering right over the top, keeping himself healthy, still 5 players.
Yeah, they've not accounted for Boo repositioning towards CT. It's a quick clean-up, easy enough at the end of the day. It's Mystic all on its own again for the second round.
The reason why I'm harping so much on this save round is because there is a huge timing to take over on A, had the offense been patient. Once the smoke faded on A, Rian's lobbed a haunt into main to flush it out. Now, imagine Cypher was still here. A, all of a sudden, isn't being watched. Then there's a timing, but instead, they ran into another 3-stack. Why? Just leave! But Heretics did well and were proactive again by taking space in B main after losing heaven. All I'm saying is that Fokus need to find timings like this. They exist. Don't just brute force your way into places, especially with 2 sentinels. I mean, just look at the next round. They found an early first blood on Benji Fishy, and Heretics setup literally collapsed. Behind Mystic's lurk smoke, the offense literally just walked out of A and sold a huge fake for the spike to go B.
The eye coming through, Riens didn't have any sort of information. His Focus contacted their way in.
Oh, but he's partnered up with Zus, and they've managed to find the opener. They don't have information on these last 2 players. They initially set up towards B, so lots of players isolated. One of them, Valorant, but he will excel in those 1v1s. Mechanical, in name and nature. There you have it.
Okay. So after that round, Fokus should have recognized that their win condition is to find the cracks. In their 2-2-1 default, Fokus's goal is to first take B main, then mid, and have Mystic lurk A. Much better than Pistol. Now Heretics' plan is to be proactive across the map, KO starting in spawn again to act as a quick rotate in case of a rush. The barriers drop, and Fokus take B main pretty easy with just a slow orb and a long tripwire. As long as this impossible to break thing stays up, the offense will always have this map control. But Heretics know how to pilot their complicated comp. They've just lost B, so at the same time, Minibu senses Boombot down mid, and Rians jump spots A, only one of them getting shot. So the defense now have all the information they need. It's a B and mid default. Faye tells Breach to leave as she can watch both lanes at the same time. She moves to heaven and lobs a haunt. Astra! Why? Okay, well, Woot tried smoking mid, but accidentally hit a star in A. How do you mess these up? But now Rians can't watch main, as an attacker could have found some crazy timing up ramp, especially with the way this haunt was lobbed. Now, could there be attackers walking up? Yeah, back on B, KO stuck his knife on top B main, spotting no one, and allowing Minibu to satchel this annoying trip. B's clear, so these 2 peek out and check A. It's clear. What about mid? Well, the offense have to be in there.
Attack. Your boy Lucis went on an adventure on his own.
Bring them down.
That never caught him. That Prowler never caught him. He's unlucky not to get anything from it. Benji will finally punish him, but that was an opportunity Fokus could have had.
Yeah, Heretics still keeping eyes on those flash flies.
Why? Why would you just slide back up? The Prowler didn't tag you. Congratulations. That was your timing, and you blew it. Which is fine. You're not accurate. But why go back for seconds? And what is our game plan here? One clown goes one way and one the other? Was this supposed to be a B split? It can't be because Mystic smoked heaven. Whatever, Heretics' proactivity has put them up big. It was good to break this trip in main as it slowed Fokus's hit, and this mid-round flash peek was wonderfully timed. But Cypher slipped through.
Minibu set up.
KO is surrounded and needs help, but because heaven's been cleared, Raze rotates to spawn to watch his back.
Boo now, without his utility to try and defend this one. Boo supporting from spawn, from the garden, 2 suppressed as the knife comes back up, and Heretics all of a sudden have twice the number. The wall isn't exactly going to help them in this kind of situation. They're taking the peaks one at a time. Heretics ready to show Fokus the door. Hoodie peeks in, he gets a double, but nothing more than that. It's only 2 rounds now that separate these teams.
Heretics' proactiveness and Fokus's monkey business is sparking this comeback. But the offense have a neat ramp default for this round in their initial 4-1, while Heretics have swapped their setup. KO is now on A, and Fade and Vents, who's opted for full armor over a second Prowler. Normally, I'd hate this. Buy your utility over extra shields. But their plan is to enable Miniboo to scale down the left side of mid and swing sewer while Fade fights her market. If you're fighting a long distance like this in a naturally close-quartered map like Split, where your opponent should be more likely to buy Phantoms, I don't think the full armor buy is too bad. The round opens quick. Boo suppressing A, Hoodie slowing ramp with Lewis flying up behind with the smoke to cap off Heaven. Now to the defense, a whole village worth of people are here. The Knife probably tagged 3 agents, and Mystic created a sound cue with his teleport. 2 Heretics, 3 people are in A, meaning mid should be weak.
It's presence and nothing more.
Miniboo has gone on an adventure towards bottom mid, punished for it, re-ends.
Fokus's heavy ramp default has worked, and Heretics are screwed. If they don't act quick and start clearing out some of these question marks, all Fokus has to do is group up, and they'll win. All Fokus has to do is group up, and they'll win. Just tuck and group up, Raze. Fade is on her way to beat your ass.
Audible range. I don't think Heretics heard that one, but Woot may have spotted it. Another flash, it's gone wide.
Go somewhere. Make a decision, Raze. Either peek ramp or leave. You're just standing in the middle of the open. Do something. I think the offense are trying to set her up by faking a B Heaven take. I have no clue. Sage and Cypher were on their way back, so maybe they were going to go A, but Omen and Jet were hanging in mid and B to fake it? Who the fuck knows? The bright side for Fokus is that Heretics don't have a Sentinel, so their setup is still kind of scuffed. Fade just threw a Prowler in events, and KO a Knife, kind of for Heaven, and Alorante is hanging back to lurk while the rest of Fokus group and head back to B. Now this should work, kinda. Cypher and Fade exchange shots, so 2 defenders should be anchored on A, but what are the attackers going to hit B with? Mystic blew his blind on this fake. What's going to set Jet up?
Support each other, complement so well. Boo doesn't have a fragment available, but Woot with a star in his pockets, just gonna hold on to it. The Vandal does the talking. Zus walks the walk, but he's straight in, and so is Mystic.
Hello? Your Sage is miles behind you. Why are we just walking out? What was your cue? Were you just bored? I get it, we don't have an initiator, but that doesn't mean we throw out everything we know about Valorant.
Mystic so disjointed, a disconnect from Fokus towards the tail end of this round, with fate now in the hands of the Hourglass.
You can't be serious. It is really hard to keep track of all the open lanes without a Sentinel, which is why Boo was so focused on Heaven. Plus, he didn't expect 3 people to just walk out of B main one at a time. But this is a nightmare for Heretics. With this plant, Hoodie has his res, and now starting from this corner, these two have the entire map to clear out, as that Cypher could be anywhere. He's in spawn, and he hears Breach coming at him.
In the backline.
Yeah, we've not seen him for a while, has
Heretics make the last second decision to group up, unlike Fokus did, head up and through vents, mid, B Heaven, and just hope for the best.
Managed to spin this one in their favor. Flashing through Heaven, Alorante still hanging on.
Yoo-hoo, Cypher! When did you want to come out? Cypher, come out!
Now and deal with the attackers, but the crossfire lays in wait, waiting to be trapped, to be triggered. Instead, Hoodie peeks solo, means the Nightfall is back online. They have the info, but at the same time, they don't know where these players are. Open Plant will play against them. Now they know Mystic's main, and Benji will stick as Heretics hang on.
At this point, I'm convinced Fokus want to lose this game. I don't know. Now, the thing about Heretics comp is that, yeah, you want to get proactive and take fights to have a good amount of map control, to have a good read on the offense. But against an eco, you probably should be careful about how aggressive you get. Fokus's plan is to take B main, but so are Heretics. Benji opens around by fault lining the entrance, allowing the Boo Brothers to walk up.
Exactly.
The efficiency of their ults is good.
Yeah, fighting Garage. Heretics taking the duel to their opponent for the first time on this defender's side. It's up against the eco, and they melt through it.
Fokus was ready for this aggression, as Mystic had his paranoia primed and ready. But Heretics just won their fights. Against the ecos, I think being aggressive like this is kinda sus, especially because attackers are normally grouped with bad weapons and can overwhelm you. But it worked out. And now Heretics are still stuck in the mud. At the start of the round, Valorant caged the main cross, forcing Fate to move to heaven and use his haunts, but that didn't clear much, meaning that there's two spots Cypher could be, A or mid, meaning the defense has to spread its attention super thin. But now that it's been quiet for a minute, Miniboo sends his Boombot towards B for info, but Lewis might have found another one of those timings.
Point for them. This is insane.
What?
This is the contact again. Lewis walks straight out the mouth of the site into the choke and
Fokus have the player advantage again.
finds both players. Fokus have numbers again.
Hallows look to wait.
Cypher, dude! Please, watch the smoke until it's done blooming. I love flinging my knife around as much as the next guy, but man? With that death, Fokus have two big problems on their hands. 1, the defense are starting to flood out. 2, the spikes near spawn.
Rounds just playing off one another. A TP to grab Spike, which Fokus did not have. It's all up to you.
Mystics used his ult to grab the spike, but in Woot's brain, Omen had it and went A. Now for the next 30 seconds, the two remaining players walk around not knowing where anyone could possibly be, until Mystic is forced to plant.
Real small margin for error here, and as the smoke drops in, Woot's caught him.
Fokus keep finding the micro timings they should against these triple initiators, but they keep tossing their advantages away. Like this round, their plan is to abuse the fact that Heretics are trying to get one person to hold both of these lanes. Doing so eliminates one avenue that the defense has to watch, and the rest of their team can go stack their other half of the map, which is usually what a Sentinel does. So Fokus are defaulting B, mid, and heading back to A and that one person, but the way they're doing it is pretty sick. Now Heretics are back to their setup, where Fade and Breach try to set her up onto this line, KO and Raze fight mid, while Astra anchors B. But the round opens up quiet. Lewis walks into B main, and KO flings his knife 6 seconds in. He has switched up his timing in case the offense wanted to dodge it, and it's hit Raze. But is that a good thing? In the meantime, Fokus have taken mid control by snapping Miniboo's Boombot, slow orbing and smoking vents, but Jet is the only one who stays. This is where we see the attacker's master plan unfold. The 3 supports are walking back to sewer, and on their way back, they hear Fade's Prowler fizzle out, and then they dodge her haunt. Perfect. In the defense's mind, A main is super clear. I mean, you can't blame them, but that's what Fokus want them to think. And on top of that, Lewis has lobbed his nade at default, and earlier, Jet swung and dashed away from it, triggering Breach's stun. Plus, with that slow orb they saw, this is the most obvious B split ever, so Heretics thought.
Inroads towards the A site.
Valorant at the front.
Fokus have the advantage again.
Hung out to dry, all by himself, and Benji nowhere in sight, not near enough to bury the body. He'll peek back out into a paranoia.
How come every time they're up in the round, Fokus fuck it up? Your Cypher just popped his neural theft, Jet. Just get ready to kill the guy running at you and who's about to glow on your screen. And Cypher, dude, I know you know Breach is in heaven, but what's your team's plan? Omen's going to flash him, but Sage is staying back? To do what? Slow down the footage, and it literally looks like these two are waiting for Cypher to die before they move out. And Cypher didn't even wait for the flash to make contact before fully swinging out. I guess someone has to go big now.
Advantage.
Trying to go a little bit further. Mystic.
This could have been such a nice post plant. Had Cypher not died, or at least gotten traded, the offense could have stalled the defense with the utility they had left, and Raze would have had time for a solid flank. It becomes obvious, Boo's ready for it, and Hoodie has to save. Fuck, there's so much video left. Fokus, take a time out to figure something out. Guys, wake up! We're blowing this game!
But coach, we're tired of playing slow and looking for gaps. Can we just go B?
You guys are hopeless. I think Fokus have given up on this whole finding timings thing and just want to slam B. They have 4, soon to be 5 here. And because Sage saved her Vandal last round, and they've been choking this lead so hard, Fokus have enough money to buy a couple extra rifles and stingers, and still full buy next. But they're not totally just running it down. On A, Cypher has a spy cam to check and see if the defense are doing enough to keep one person posted on both lines, and in mid, they're burning a smoke to keep the attention posted there and not towards B. Now, I think Heretics were expecting the same ramp default we've seen before, as Fade and Breach are formed in a high-low, ready to just gun Lewis down. The offense doesn't have flashes. A default like this shouldn't be that strong. But it's not coming. The round opens up instead with Lewis's boombot chugging into B main, and the duelists walk in, but Boo's change up his knife timing again. But that's not enough. On A, these guys haven't done anything yet to get info, and Mystics just smoked vents. So Breach gives up on A and heads into spawn, ready to stun either of these two lanes, like a global stun defense system. But a B split has to be coming. Without an initiator, a full-on B execute should get stuffed like we saw on Pistol.
Any of those stars in the choke to actually defend himself here. He places one in his form quickly, but it is ill-timed. Just about gets back out of it. Zust there. Fokus trying to take as much space as they can with the contact, but the pop falls flat. It's Boo and Woot in tandem to make it a 3 versus 1 clutch attempt for Mystic. He's been known to excel in these situations before, but Heretics are not going to give him the time of day. The Prowler, with that confirmation of his position backside, and the works come out of the woodworks here. He's tethered, and with the double swing, it makes for number 11.
There just isn't enough to set up this execute. All we have is this paranoia that doesn't really stop anything. Especially because this smoke and slow orb we didn't see were occupying mid, the odds are that defenders were going to be in heaven. We need something to make sure the defense can't flood out, like a slow orb. Those would have stopped Fade and Raze from flooding in on Pistol too. While you might think Sentinels are useless on offense, they aren't. When executing, Molly, slow, or cage lineups are great at buying your team time to clear out site. So if Focus are going to rush a site without an initiator, can we at least have slow lineups? Focus actually don't have that bad of a plan this round. Remember this cruddy ramp default? Well, Focus are running it back, but are just using that pressure as a distraction to run it into A. And now this should work well too, because KO has shifted over towards A, and Focus are ready to dodge his knife by standing this far back. Round 21 begins, and Raze flies up ramp, past KO's knife, and starts taking pot shots into heaven. Heretics quickly realize what's happening, and double peek ramp with a fault line. This default sucks, and the defense want to punish Raze. But she's not letting them kill her. She instead occupies the defense with pot shots and a boombot, but doubles back to hit A.
Set the stakes for this round. I don't think there'll be much of a buy coming into the next for Focus. This could perhaps be last chance saloon up against Heretics. Finally, they ferry their way.
With a simple misdirection, Focus have A. And we don't have a replay system, so I don't know for sure, but I'm going to give Focus the benefit of the doubt that Sage launched her slow orb to deny the heaven run out. Now, here's where things get stupid. Sage has the spike and is planted for ramp and walled herself into elbow. Great, but where is everyone else going? Why are we all getting off site? Don't you realize Astra has her Cosmic Divide online? Get back on site, you monkeys!
Now they pull the trigger.
Yeah, they've got a set retake utility that they're looking to use. Showstopper has found its value, and well, the Cosmic Divide will be introduced as well. Focus have changed their eyesights, where they want to go and attack, and it's towards heaven. It's messy, and it's been left to Boo in heaven. The spike is going to be defused, and it's going to be match point for Heretics.
On the following force buy, Xus came up big with his Blade Storm, and I think Benji kinda got unlucky. It looked like he died to someone being pulled around by the suck. But Heretics don't have a lot of rounds to play with, and take a timeout to come up with a plan. Okay, no funny bits this time. In this timeout, Heretics discussed how on the wings, they've been throwing a knife for info, or stun peeking, and leaving the area to stack others. At this point, the offense are expecting them and might dodge all this. So on A, they're staggering their utility, first the Breach Stun, then the KO Knife. These three are fighting mid, and B is wide open for retake with Breach's Rolling Thunder. And now Focus? They're running it up A, again. The round opens up with a fault line and Nebula from the defense, capping off A main, and the offense are taken back. The knife tags all 5 of them. Heretics have all the information in the world. Ray sprints down mid, and into market, and into spawn? Why not just jiggle sewer? The offense either has to peek back into you or run through spawn and make noise. Slow walking all this way would take too long. And have Astra do this. Because rotates are so late, heaven is now a big question mark. In the defense's mind, they're being pinched.
Mid with Woot right behind him. It falls onto the triad of Heretics players here to shut down the push. Benji investing the ult. It goes behind Alorante, so he's still in position to capitalize. But speaking of capitalization, Heretics have not moved an inch.
Fokus looking to slow the pace down straight away.
Here they go.
Heretics not allowing them to. Looking to assault the position that they managed to find themselves. It still goes even either side, and that res coming through. That stun's massive, and they'll get rid of Hoodie for this round.
Now, I want to yell at Heretics for getting this aggressive and probably overextending, but it's not like they have a Cypher that can hold half the map. They have to and are conditioned to get proactive. In Heretics' head, the offense can be in their spawn. Look at Breach and Raze, but the defenders did well to get active and even things out at 4 apiece, even after the Sage res. But there's still some big holes in their setup. With the possibility that they could be anywhere, all Fokus need to do is group up and do something together, which is go vents.
Contact there, but even then, if you go to B, you still have Miniboo lurking around, and you've got to beat Woot if you want to get there first, and they will.
I mean, the neural theft is massive.
The whole map is open for the offense, but Raze's peak has spotted all 3 remaining attackers. They're all sprinting through Heaven and onto B, but they need more space, otherwise they can get pinched from Spawn, Heaven, and Main.
Boy Lewis's pocket.
Oh, huge from Miniboo. He actually dropped the boombot towards Garage, so they might still think that he's here. He's coming back through mid instead, but it doesn't matter because Lewis has found a hat trick. Can he fill his shoes with any more? He certainly can.
Heretics comp should never do this well in defense. Last round proved that when played well against, there's going to be constant holes and question marks, and you're going to get lurked on and backstabbed so much that it's too much to keep track of. This round, Fokus's plan is to contact up A as 4. Isn't this similar to what they did on Pistol, and it didn't work? Okay, well, Heretics are back to their original setup. KO starts the round by flinging his knife, aimed at people trying to dodge his 0 point, attacking nothing. Hold on, is this just Pistol round all over? Nothing's mid or B, so they gotta check A.
Once more, again, onto the breach. Team Heretics here. It's a solo fight, which Benji would have to take, but he's in good company. Rians has already found the first of those picks. The util, it can delay.
Remember what I said before? If played well against, this comp sucks. Well, Fokus aren't playing well against this comp, who, by the way, left B Heaven open and have just decided to chill in the spawn and let the offense have whatever they want. Worst case scenario, the remaining Heretics players just trade each other out and re-clear the map together. And since Fokus is down 3 versus 5, Heretics are expecting Fokus to make a play.
Try and poke in towards the back lines. They need to be careful of this.
Oh, but so does Lewis. He did it on the previous round, but you can't pull the same kind of thing twice against Heretics. They will punish you for it, and Woot still hangs around. He knows of Valorant now. Hoodie, a little bit of a distraction, which he makes the most of. Still 2 kills. Play this one out to the very depths. It's going down to the wire. Valorant has his first, but Riens will clean up, and the sophomore year starts with success.
Yeah. This triple initiator comp is not easy to run at all, and playing against it is kind of tricky too. But is it as weird as triple controllers? China made that comp look great in this video here.